Good. 60 seconds. Picking up some guns. 30 seconds. We copy you down, Eagle.
Welcome to Japan Snowboarder. I'm your host Ken, where people call me Ken-san, here in Furano, Hokkaido, Japan. The aim of this show is to help you find the right paddleboard for hitting the mountains of Japan. This is season 2, episode 4, and I'm super excited to do today's review on the Burton Deep Daze. If you want to see more episodes like this, make sure you subscribe. And if you're thinking about coming to Japan next winter, check us out at furanosnowtours.com. We offer both private and mixed group tours hitting the mountains in the central Hokkaido region. And on these tours you can also rent the Deep Daze and many other paddleboards which I have featured in our videos. And if you're looking for a unique stay around Furano, check out elementfurano.com. We're surrounded by farmland, looking out to the mountains of Takachidake and Furano ski field. Okay, so let's talk about the Burton Family Tree 3D Deep Daze. They say that the design of the Deep Daze has been well tested and fine-tuned, a result of 40 years of experimentation. The Deep Daze has been inspired by modern surfboard designs. I can see this in the board where it has a full rocker like a 90s thruster surfboard. It's got crazy channels in the tail. And it also has this V in the nose, which I had in my first fiberglass surfboard when I was about 7 or 8. Look at the shape, it's got a pretty wide pointed nose that gives you float in the powder, and the tail's got a 20mm taper, so it's narrower at the end, which helps sink the tail, giving lift in the nose. Also, you can see in the shape of the tail that it's not fully round. There's actually a bump here, and in surfboard designs, they say that this is where you pivot your turns. So I guess they're using that same concept here. This board comes in 3 sizes, 149, 154, and this board here is a 159. When you read the details of the board, they say that this board has a surf rocker profile, where the back half of the board is flat, and then from the middle of the board, there's a massive rocker. When I looked at this board closely and put a ruler to it, I couldn't really see this. It seemed like it had more of a rocker from your front foot to the nose, and also a rocker from your back foot out to the tail, and a flat section in the middle. I like the surf rocker profile in a lot of my powder boards. The nose works well, giving lift in the powder and giving you nice turns. There's just no resistance in the middle of the board, which you may find with canvas snowboards, especially if they're stiff. And with the nice rocker in the tail, it's just got nice smooth release in your turns. So the flex in this board is about a 5 out of 10. It has a directional flex where the nose is softer than the tail. So when you're pushing in and out of your turns, the whole board flexes and you get that push and drive out of your tail. And also with the stiffer tail, you get pop as well. I found that with the surf rocker profile and the flex in this board, the whole board just flexes in and out of your turns really nicely, as you can see in the footage. What's super unique about this board is all the 3D contours that's happening in this board. First, around the nose, there's an uplift in the edges of the nose, which gives you good turning initiations. In the powder, which you can see in the footage, and also when I run my hands along the nose, you can feel the V in the nose, like those surfboard in the 80s. With the V in the nose, it helps push through the powder, pushing the powder to the sides, giving you lift. Also in the board, you can feel and see these 2 channels in the nose. The idea of this is that the powder's going to get pushed through the channels, and as it releases out to the flat, it gives it greater lift in the nose. Also, you can see that the channels aren't straight. They're actually in a nice curve, which follows the curve of your turns. When we run the ruler along the nose, you can clearly see the V in the nose. What's less subtle is that when you run your ruler along the tail, you can actually see that there's a V in the tail as well. This is an idea also taken from surfboard designs, where if you have a V in the tail in a surfboard, especially in wider fish surfboards, it makes the board easier to turn from edge to edge. And I feel like they've incorporated this in this board for the same reason, to help you with your turning initiation. What we must also talk about are these crazy channels in the tail, which is also from surfboard designs, which we saw a lot of in the 80s and maybe early 90s, and back in fashion more recently. I think the idea with these channels here is to give you more bite and hold in your powder turns. I really like the shape of the side cut radius with the surf rocker profile of this board. It looks and it also feels really good and smooth in and out of your turns. There is not much for me to say about how this board goes in the snow. As you can see in the footage, it's got excellent glide in the big wide open terrain. The nose really floats, and that V in the nose, and also the uplift in the side cut of the nose, you can see that nose is always above the powder. It turns super smoothly. I like pushing in and out of my turns around the trees and in the deep powder. You can just feel the whole board just flex in and out of your turns, giving you drive out of that tail. This is the board that I have been looking for after my Captor Spring Break Tree Hunter. Both boards are very different, but it's got a very similar feel when you push in and out of your turns. I probably won't ride this board on pace and just keep it for those special occasions to ride in deep powder. This is a specific dedicated powder board. I would recommend this board for advanced to expert riders to make the most out of the deep days. I recommend this board for snowboarders who surf as well. You'll really appreciate all the features in this board and how it feels in the powder. Well, I hope you got a lot out of this episode of the Burton Deep Daze, a truly sick board. If you want to see more episodes like this, make sure you subscribe. If you like this video, give it the thumbs up. And if you want to leave a comment, please do so down below. And until next time, mata ne.